Welcome to No Boxes, Just Verses, the podcast where we go beyond the bios and the titles to explore the lessons that shape today's most inspiring voices, all through the songs that have moved them. Each week, we bring you a playlist of a leader's life. 5 lessons, 5 songs, 1 unforgettable conversation.
Let's put the pedal to the metal, let the top lean back. I don't know where we're going, I don't know what we're running to. I'm checking for you, how you feel about that. I think it's time we rendezvous.
Hi, listeners. When we taped the Terri J. Vaughn episode, her new Netflix show was called She the People. Since then, the show has been rebranded to Miss Governor. Part 1 with the first 8 episodes is available on Netflix right now. And Part 2 of the next 8 episodes will be available and released on August 14th, 2025. Be sure to catch up on Part 1 and stay tuned for the exciting conclusion with Part 2. Today's guest is none other than Bay Area's own Terri J. Vaughn. Now, Terri's background, y'all, I'm not going to be able to do it justice, but I'm going to give it a try. Y'all know her from her iconic role as La Vida Alizé Jenkins from The Steve Harvey Show, and from other roles such as Friday, Soul Food, Meet the Browns, and Insecure. Terri has been honored with 3 NAACP Image Awards and is the powerhouse behind the camera as well, directing films for Hallmark, BET, and Paramount, just to name a few. She currently stars as Antoinette Dunkerson in the newly created Netflix series, a political satire produced with Hollywood powerhouse Tyler Perry. And next up, she's set to direct Reasonable Doubt, the highly acclaimed episodic drama from ABC Studios, which is streaming on Hulu. Terri J. Vaughn is in the house. Terri, welcome to No Boxes, Just Verses.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here with my friend Shannon. She forgot to say that we're friends. That's very important.
I know. Genuinely, this is going to be an amazing conversation because we have been friends. I mean, I think if you Google this, you could probably find it, but you have to probably Google a little hard, Terri. We actually opened up our own coffee bar, acting studio, nightclub. I don't even know what else to call it. The Green Room in Atlanta, where we were actually business partners. And man, did we learn a lot.
We did. It was an amazing experience. It was super purposeful. And I'm thankful that we did it.
Me too. So, you know what, Terri, let's just dive into your journey and your lesson. Let's first start out about, you grew up in the Bay Area. And your roots as a childhood are so Bay Area. You have so many strong women in your life. Shout out to your mother, Helen, who was a Zumba instructor. I'm a Zumba instructor, but she's super inspiring. She's somebody who never ages. And I'm sure that Zumba has a lot to do with it. But your grandmother is still alive and still an amazing person. And so I'd love for you to take us through those early memories. And the song that you picked was Go Away, Little Boy, Marlena Shaw.
Yes. It was. That song just reminds me of being at my aunt's house because, yes, I grew up in San Francisco. My mom was a single mom raising me and my sister Tracy up in Hunters Point in the Bayview district of San Francisco. And my mom, when you're a single parent, you're raising 2 girls, she had more than one job. So a lot of times we were at my grandmother's house or at my aunt's house. But this song, Go Away, Little Boy, it reminds me so much of my aunt and my mother and the music that used to play through my aunt's house. I feel like we were like Wonder Woman, the island of Wonder Woman, where all these amazing, powerful women, that's what I feel like my life was. So listening to Go Away, Little Boy by Marlena Shaw, it just brings back so many memories of laughter because that song is really funny, but it's also very sassy and female boss. So it just reminds me of my upbringing with my mom and my aunt because they were they're just baddies. You're right. My family, it's a family of baddies. My grandmother is 95 and still fussing at everybody because she's mad because she can't drive. She's mad because she can't do all this stuff. And everybody is just thriving and being the powerful women they are.
I know these amazing women. You really had a lot of role models at a very young age, and you even took a lot of that and started like a nonprofit to help other girls with seeing other sheroes in their lives. Take Wings
Yeah.
Foundation.
Yes, 1000%. Because, like I said, I grew up in Hunters Point. My childhood, it was a drug infested neighborhood. So there was a lot of things going on in our neighborhood that wasn't necessarily great, but it was home for us. And one of the things that happened often in that environment is there was a lot of bullying by other girls in my neighborhood. I was jumped a few times. I just grew up with this just wonderment of why? Like, why were they so angry at me? Why were they wanting to fight me? Or I had to take up for my sister several times. And the question was always why? And as I got older, I just realized I was lucky and I had a hands on mom and family that really pushed us to do well in school. They weren't like strict, but it was understood that we had to get good grades. We had to do our chores. There were just things we had to do. And, I just thank my mom that she instilled that in us because we were left home. She made it very clear, you guys have to be responsible because I got to go work for us. So I need to count on you. I need you to be up on your school. I don't have time to go up to the principal office. Y'all getting in trouble. I don't even have time to get home to cook dinner most nights. So I need y'all to be able to do that and keep the house clean. So that was just embedded in us. And so I just figured most of the girls in our neighborhood probably didn't have a household that was pushing those kind of values. So as I went on in my career and got on the Steve Harvey show, I always just remembered the girls in the neighborhood. And I just felt like if I can give an example or be a voice or a vision for them to believe in themselves, to aspire to something bigger outside of our little 4 blocks of our neighborhood, that was the piece that was missing for them. Something that they could aspire to be, believing in themselves that they can actually do something like that. So that's why I started Take Wings Foundation.
That lesson that was innate for you based off of your family situation, you turned into a powerful leadership lesson of being a supporter, being a mentor, and how that changes outcomes for, in particular, girls and
Yes.
girls of color. So it's amazing how much you give to that. But that's a lesson you learned very early on. And
Yeah.
I'd be remiss because now that I live in the Bay, I know how important it is. Go ahead and shout out your high school because you were very smart. And you went to a smarty arty high school. So go ahead
I
and shout.
did. Yeah, it was like I was growing up in the hood, but I was going to school with all the Asians and white people in San Francisco. Lowell High School. Lowell High School.
Go ahead, Lowell. Okay, so Terri, let's get into kind of that next phase of your life because you have such an incredible career. It's interesting because the song that you picked for kind of your teenage years and your transition years is Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang. And I happen to know, and y'all, I'm going to try to find a video somewhere. Terri knows every word of Rapper's Delight, like every single word, all the uhs and the ahs and the da da da.
The long
and the
version,
movements.
too. That's
She
like
knows the long version of Rapper's Delight. So walk us through that.
that was such a huge staple. It was a big time in life for teenagers that was being introduced to hip hop and the rhyming and the storytelling. And I just feel like hip hop just really infused us as young people then. It gave us something to be proud about. It gave us something to be joyful about, happy and prideful. And I just remember being up in Hunters Point, hanging out our window. So we were on our second floor, window wide open, and we're just singing out the window all the words of Rapper's Delight and people walking by the street and neighborhood and everybody shouting out, joining in as they walking by. It was just a fun time, and it just felt like freedom, and it reminded me of the power of being a teenager, because a lot of times you feel like you don't really look at teenagers as being powerful because they have so much more to learn. They think they know everything, but they don't. But when I say the power of being a teenager is just the freedom of life, of course, you don't have all the responsibilities that your parents have, so things are being taken care of for you, but you're just free, like being outside. I didn't even know what time I needed to be in. Everything was like loose and fun, and on my bike down to the park and back up from the park. And nobody knew what we were doing when we were gone. Nobody checked. Nobody cared. As long as we came home safe, everything was good. So it was just a freedom of being a teenager and just flying.
And what a powerful lesson that you took from there, because I really think that your creativity and how you approach your leadership, like it really started from there. Like you just felt really free, and you were in a household that supported it. So you'd already learned that lesson, but you just felt really free to like explore and be
Yeah.
creative and be happy and,
Yes.
and really dive into that. Like that's that period for you.
Yes.
But up next, and this gets a little deep, you decide to take a leap of faith. I know that you started college here in the Bay, and it's funny because
Mhm.
you told me that not too far from where I live, there's this big Marriott off the highway, like you worked there, but this was not going to be your life. You somehow knew that was not going to be your life, and you took a leap of faith and you moved to LA and decided that you were going to go for it in the business, if you will. And the song you picked is Your Steps Are Ordered by Fred Hammond. And that song is so beautiful and the words are so deep. Take us through that.
Yeah, I remember when I moved to LA. Well, first of all, how I ever got started in acting, because it wasn't anything that I sought. Growing up where I grew up, we just didn't think like that. I didn't even know that was like a legitimate career. I was all about pursuing being a successful businesswoman. Now, I don't know what kind of business I was going to be in, but my goal was just to be a successful businesswoman. And of course, I was always very creative. And in school, I had an internship at a advertising agency. So I really thought that was more of the way I was going to go into advertising, because it was creative, but it was still very business. But and I'll just be truthful, my 5th year at Cal State Hayward, I was approached by a friend who was recruiting girls for a Miss Black California pageant. And he asked us if me and some of my friends, if we wanted to do this pageant. We said, yeah, because why not? We didn't know what we were doing, but we were like, sure, why not? And when it came to the talent part, I didn't know what I was going to do. I ended up doing a poem from the play for colored girls who considered suicide when the rainbow is enough. So I recited a poem from that for my talent part of the pageant. And one of the judges of the pageant was a producer of a play that they were casting to tour the country. So he asked me if I would be interested in auditioning for this play. And I was like, sure, why not? What do I do? Because I have no idea what that even means, auditioning for a play. So he gave me the instructions. I did it. I showed up. And the long story short, I met Paul Roach. He's a Bay Area staple in the theater world. David E. Talbert, who was on the radio in the Bay Area at the time. He had written his very first play. And they offered me a part in this play. And I was like, whoa, okay, what does that mean? Now I'm acting. I don't know what that is. But Paul Roach taught me the craft of acting and made me fall in love with it. And so that's just what I did. So I always felt like God opened up all these doors because I never asked for that, because I didn't even know to ask for that. I just asked for a successful business career. That's what I asked for. And this is where he led me. And I said yes every step along the way. So when I got to LA and I moved to LA and started pursuing this for a career, and things wouldn't go my way, things were slow or whatever it was, and you feel like you're just not good enough, you're not right enough, it ain't happening for you. I would look to God and I would honestly say, I didn't ask for this. You put me here, so you're going to work this out. And that was my statement over and over again. You're going to work this out because I didn't ask for this. You put me here. So there's a reason for me to be here. And that Fred Hammond album got me through those days so much. So Your Steps Are Ordered, that song was, yes, that's what I felt. Like, God, you ordered these steps. So you're going to make right on these steps for me. I just know you are.
What's so important from that lesson is that so much of this is not within our control. And as a leader, you really just had faith. You had this unwavering just faith that got you through, that it was bigger than just Terry planned this, so this should happen, because it just never worked that way. And then the other thing I heard you say that I think is super instructive is that by the time you got to working on a play and learning the craft, you had already decided that you were just going to put in the time to be good. Like, a lot of people just think you wake up just acting. Like, you don't have to put in the work to do it. So people don't see that. By the time you get on the Steve Harvey show, it's like, oh, she just came out of nowhere. No, you have been grinding and learning the craft and putting in the time for years.
Yes. And that's the other thing about this is what I love about what I do is the craft of it. It is the acting. It's what I've learned to do with my psyche and my heart and my body for the role. That's the part of acting that I love. I never even thought about, oh, this is going to make me famous. Oh, I'm going to be popular. That was never on the trajectory. It was about being great at my craft. And I think that's where the longevity comes in because fame is fleeting and it really doesn't matter to me. I just want to work because I like it.
Right. And so, again, I think this is an Oprah statement, but it's like, if you just do what you love, like, it's never called work. And for you, I mean, I've been around you on sets, both when you're directing, both when you're acting. I've been around you when you're producing, and I just see you light up. Like, you become like in another space. And so it's not work. This is what, like, the Fred Hammond song saying. This is just the divine order you were to
Yeah.
do.
Yes. It is the gift I am supposed to give out to the world.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. It's a gift.
Yeah.
God gifted it to me to give.
So the career takes off as it was destined to, which is outside of you. And along the way, you have a personal life, you have a son. We'll get into your family later. But you meet this funny guy named
Mhm.
Vaughn, and y'all fall in love. I can't wait to hear this love story. I got to tell you, I know you have this picture, but this picture is all over the internet. So if you don't, I will find it. The song you picked was "Lost Without You," Robin Thicke. But there's this amazing picture of you and Karan in your tracksuits, basically, in Vegas getting married. I love when I tell you, because I know you, I love that picture. That picture is like really a representation of so much in y'all's relationship and just your life. And so, again, send me that picture, but if you don't, I'm gonna find it. It's absolutely gonna make this episode.
I'm sure I have it somewhere, but you are right. It isn't online because that's probably where I pulled it down from. So, Robin Thicke, Lost Without You. Yes. And whenever I hear that song, of course, I think about Karan and our journey of meeting and falling in love, which was so crazy because, yeah, I definitely wasn't looking for any of that. I was not over being in relationship because I was going through a divorce when I met Karan. So I had decided for myself that I was not interested in being married again, ever. And I was very serious about that. I love relationship. I knew I wanted to have more children, but because of the government legalities of marriage, I was like, I don't need that. I feel like I got a bunch of people in my business that don't even know me. And if I decide I don't like this person again, now all these people are in my business and they don't even know us. That really like put a bad taste in my mouth about marriage. And I was like, absolutely, hands down, we are not getting married. And Karan, when we decided we were going to be together, he agreed. He was like, that's fine with me. We don't need to. But we both knew we wanted to have children. I had my oldest son from my previous marriage. So I had him, but I wanted more children. I really did. And so Karan was in agreement. He was like, cool, because I would love to have kids too. I don't really care about the marriage thing. I'm with you. And then, of course, life goes on. And yes, I do get pregnant because that was the plan. And while I'm pregnant, we just start looking at each other like, I don't know, what you think we should reconsider this marriage thing? I was like, I think so, maybe, especially because your NFL insurance is going to be very helpful for this situation. And because of the world we live in, it all has to be legal and the government got to get in our business so I can use that health care. And so we did it. So we drove to Vegas. It was just one night. We were like, you want to go do it tonight? I guess so. I don't got nothing to do tomorrow. So we just got in the car and we called our friends on our way driving to Vegas. Called my mom, my sister, like, hey, we're headed to Vegas. We're about to get married. Not saying anybody needs to come. We're just letting you guys know that we've decided to go ahead and get married. And two of my girlfriends met us out in Vegas, and three of his friends met us out in Vegas. And that was our wedding party. And yep, I had on a pink Adidas sweatsuit. He had on a blue Adidas sweatsuit. My belly was out here because I was about 7 months pregnant. And that's our life. And we've been together ever since. That's 17 years ago.
I love so much about that story. What I love about what you just said is that you were putting this to leadership lessons. You were dead set, like, no, 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 I'm not going to do something. And as leaders, sometimes we're not right.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're not right. And so to be able as a leader to recognize you're wrong and pivot and do something else is got to be a skill that you have in your toolkit as a leader.
Life is full of pivots for everybody. Yeah. Everybody have moments, more than one, where a pivot is necessary. So, yeah, I'm definitely open. And I'm never one to just say it has to be this way or no way. Because there's 1,000 ways. And in the end, you got to pick one. But I'm open to hearing what all the options are.
What I think is so beautiful about that is whatever you were afraid of, et cetera, because it's hard, like you said, to go through a divorce. Y'all are celebrating 17 years. You defied the odds with that one. And then let's just go to this last lesson because it brings in your beautiful family. So, by the time I met you, I think I've told you the story. I met you a long time ago before I really met you, like many years ago in LA at a party. And it's memorable to me because you were Terri J. Vaughn and I was just lowly lawyer somewhere. But you were so
Lowly
sweet.
lawyer.
I was lawyer girl somewhere. We were at this party and you were so sweet and you treated me like everybody else at the party and I wasn't even in Hollywood like that. And I always remembered that. So when I first met you through our mutual friend, LaDonna Hughley, I just felt like you were already just a girlfriend. Like you're genuinely that way with everybody. You don't treat anybody better than somebody else. It's just who you are. And so I had that as a testament to just who you were. But now we meet officially and start working together. And we both have these little kids, which it's so funny because they're like 17 years old now. I know I'm giving away our age.
And how about I got a 24-year-old?
Oh, I know. And I got a 27-year-old. So we have old kids too, but the kids we have that are the same age are little kids when we first meet. So you got the two boys, and I have the three boys at that time. I only have three, no more time. But what you wind up doing, and so we're all fine. We're women of a certain age. And then I get this surprise,
my God,
email to come to some event that you're taping for some TV show, and it's like you and your girlfriends. I'm not even really sure what it's about, but you're taping a show and there's a party where you want your girlfriends to come to the garden party. And y'all, we get to the garden party and Terri is pregnant. And I think our kids are like, I want to say they're like 10 or something like that.
No, they weren't even 10.
They were Logan and Khalil. Okay. I couldn't remember how old they were. I just remember being completely shocked that she was having
me too
another baby. but she is gorgeous. You got the little girl. She's not even a little girl anymore. She's 10. It's been that long. But walk us through just where you are in life professionally with this beautiful family. Now, you're a mom of 3. You joined my club. You picked As by Stevie Wonder, which, I
Mhm.
mean, oh, that
That's the song of songs,
that's
right?
the song, right. That's what you picked as where
Mm.
you are today. Walk us through the Terry today.
Yeah, that song, first of all, I know it's not a new song or anything like that, but it is the song that speaks to the life I wish for all of us, right? Stevie Wonder is giving us what love really means, what it means beyond just your family unit, even. Of course, your kids and your husband, wives, that's love, but the love he's talking about in that song, about the love for yourself, the love for all that God creates, which is the creation of everything, our neighbors, the trees, the air, the sun. And he just talks about this type of love that it almost is love beyond human capacity, right? But that's what we should be striving for because that's all that really matters. That's the vibration of the world. If we want a world to be full of joy and light, that's the kind of love everybody should be aspiring to give, to receive, to feel. So that song, as the messaging in that song, just brings me so much joy. It makes me happy no matter what the heck is going on. When I play it, everybody around me feels it. So it's a powerful song, and I play it during work. So I was just wrapped up directing an episode of Reasonable Doubt, right? And when you're working, which they have a great crew and everything, the energy is really beautiful. We're working long days and long hours, and sometimes energy gets a little drained. Sometimes people get a little short, and I pride myself on having a very fun set, a very loving set. So when I feel that energy kind of tilting, somebody bring me a speaker, please. Give me my
Yeah.
Apple Music. And I put that song on in between scenes while people are setting, and it just changes the atmosphere. It changes the atmosphere. That is the song that is, yeah, the life. That's life.
Again, the leadership kind of takeaway from there is you as a leader, the people need to understand as a director, you're pretty much the leader of that whole like set, if you will. And you have to really understand what's going on with your team. Like you said, if their energy is down. It's like your job to figure out how to stop that. And I love that you use music as it's the unifier for all of us. It's hard to have a scowl on your face when an amazing song is playing. You use that to bring the troops together so that you could get back to doing what y'all are doing, which is making great content and helping really motivate people. So I love that's how you bring that together for folks. It's really, your life has really been about a lot of self-love, resilience, and then that joy is really about being an empathetic leader. It really is. It's like having that empathy for the person next to you and really wishing for them that they can find that joy. That's what you're doing with all of this.
Well, and that's how you get the best out of everyone because everybody wants the same goal. We want a great piece of content at the end of it. Everybody's showing up to work because that's what they want. And just human isms within us, our moods change and things happen and we're dealing with personal things at home and sometimes we just need a little reminder, a little escape. And I value people a lot. Like everybody's adding something to the picture to make the picture pretty. So I value those people on set. I want them to feel good because if they're feeling good, we're going to have a great piece of content at the end of this. So all of that matters. It all matters.
I think, look, Terry, Your playlist is a whole vibe, like, seriously. It is empowerment, it's funny, it's witty, but it's serious. It talks a lot about your faith. I really know that our listeners are going to enjoy the Terri J. Vaughn playlist. But before we get out of here, a couple things. Please share with our listeners, how can they follow and support you? And then I want to ask a bonus question. We already know that As is a song that lifts your mood. What other song makes you, when you hear it, you smile?
So the song that makes me smile, it's funny because I'm battling myself inside my brain because it's 2 songs, but it's by the same artist. It's Kirk Franklin, Melodies from Heaven, Rain Down on Me. I love that song. It makes me feel incredible and reminds me of the power of God's love around me, and also smile. You said what song makes me smile? That was the other song, and I got to be in that music video with him. Me and our good friend Tommy Ford got to be in Kirk's video when he was in Atlanta filming the video for that song, and that song, of course, makes you smile and makes you laugh and all the things. So those 2 songs, no matter what, if it comes on, the mood changes automatically.
Okay, now, listeners like you, and I need to go back and watch that video because I didn't know that you and Tommy were both in it. And Tommy was a dear friend for both of ours. So that's a good little tip. Even as much as I know you, I didn't know that. So I have to go back and watch that video myself. And Terri, tell us what you're working on and how we can support you.
So you talked about She the People. She the People is streaming on Netflix right now, and I really am encouraging, pushing, I'm forcing actually you all to watch that show, to rate the show so we can get our second season. The first 8 episodes are already streaming on Netflix. The second 8 will drop on August 14th on Netflix. And please watch both segments because they're both season 1. And depending on how those do, we're prayerfully going to get a second season. So you guys have a lot to do with that. So please help. And you can follow me on all the social media platforms on Terri J. Vaughn on all the platforms. I'm always listing what I'm doing, ways you can support. Like I said, I directed an episode of one of my favorite shows, Reasonable Doubt. I love that show. They're in their 3rd season. I believe the new season is gonna drop in September on Hulu. So I'm still in the editing phase for my episode of that, but super excited. It's gonna be so good. The season is woo! It's fire. Crazy.
Cannot wait. So, y'all, you heard it. Please support Terri J. Vaughn. First of all, She the People is hilarious. And I think people really need to understand watching it is great. And then actually, where they ask you, do you like this? They ask you, hitting that button that says yes really matters. If you want these shows to continue, these are some of the metrics that the decision makers use to decide whether they're going to do another season. So, listeners, please like it and support it and share it with a friend, with a colleague, with a neighbor, with somebody on the airplane. I don't care. Share it.
Please.
Terri, we've had an amazing time talking to you. I'm going to do a quick recap of the Terri J. Vaughn playlist. We first talked about your upbringing and your strength and the supporter mentorship kind of mindset that you developed as a young girl. And that song was Go Away, Little Boy. We then went into kind of your teenage energy and culture and really experimenting and believing in yourself. And that was Rapper's Delight. We next went into looking at your purpose and having some faith, right? And really letting that faith guide you as a leader. And that song is Your Steps Are Ordered. Next, we went into the leadership lesson of really being someone who is open to change, not so stuck in your ways as a leader, but really open to figuring out that there could be another pathway. And that song is Lost Without You. And we ended with the resilience, the joy, the healing that Terri has experienced today, where she is very happy. And that song is As. Terri, thank you so much for taking us behind the scenes of your life. The playlist, just like you, is layered and full of light and love. Thank you for showing us what leadership looks like with heart, humor, and honesty.
Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate it so much. And I love you.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening to No Boxes, Just Verses. And if this episode moved y'all, please share it, rate us, follow the show on your favorite platform, and we can keep building our leadership playlists together. So you can find me, guys, on Instagram as Shannon Nash 1 and No Boxes, Just Verses on Instagram. You can also find me on LinkedIn as Shannon Nash ESQ CPA. You can also find No Boxes, Just Verses on LinkedIn. You can visit our website at noboxesjustverses.com. Finally, don't forget to check out the show notes. The show notes are super important because this is where the playlists will live. You will be able to get these playlists on Apple and Spotify. You'll also be able to follow up and see how to reach out to the guests, follow them, and support them. Until next time, I need you to stay unboxed. You come for the stories, but you stay for the playlists. I'm Shannon Nash, and I'm out.